How's it going, everybody? Welcome to my third segment of Real Talk. Today, I'd like to cover the topic of, is there competition, or just competition in general in the indie community? There was a bit of a discussion a while back, and this has been touched on from time to time of, is there much competition in comparison to, I guess, the big players in indie or in the mainstream? And it was particularly around the ability for creators to create their own universe, right? When it comes to their characters and their IPs. And, this kind of spurred because, there's some big prominent creators that have entered the marketplace that, have a leg up, right? Whether it's finances and contacts, etc., to where they're able to right away, right, create several products, get all their characters out there and spin-offs. And so that kind of spurred the question of, is there any competition to this? And my argument is absolutely, right? There are hundreds of indie creators, if not thousands, right, in the marketplace, and they're all competitors. Now, some might not have universes, right? But there are folks like myself and others that do have their own universe, whether that has already been released via products or it's still in the, concept kind of phase. And I kind of feel like at times, because some of us creators are so small, or there's not much visibility to us, that we get dismissed as if we don't even exist, which obviously I and others don't appreciate. And, the thing is, right, if I had hundreds of thousands of dollars disposable income or money sitting in the bank, you bet I would have several comic issues underway, another novel or two. I mean, um, I'd be going very hard in the paint on my character universe, right? But that's just not the reality of things. I have a 9 to 5, I have a family, and I just can't afford to commission that much work or get, you know, be able to pull away certain creators I'd like to work with from, other projects, right? Because you would need that funding. Nevertheless, even though, I have released both my novels and the mini comic, my universe exists. It's there, all the characters, everything. So I am competition. I exist, but I'm just not as noticed, and that's fine, right? I'm not expecting to be in the limelight or anything like that. I'm going to keep grinding to get there, to prove, that my characters, my storyline, and my universe is a worthy competitor, but it certainly doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? It does. I mean, it's right here, right? Because in the end, when you're an indie, all it comes down to is reach, invisibility, and also obviously quality. Now, I'm 100% confident in the quality of my books, the quality of the art in the books. That's for damn sure. So that's not an issue, right? It's just I can't go at the pace that some others might be able to. And I think 95% of indies are in the same boat as I am, unfortunately, right? But that's part of being an indie. We don't have a corporation, paying us to produce these products, funding us up front. We got to grind and then hopefully get the funding. And anyone that's went through crowdfunding knows how stressful that is and how difficult that is. And a lot of, I guess, outsiders don't understand the amount of hours you have to put in, not just on the product, but on putting together the campaign, the marketing materials, the amount of time you have to put on Twitter, Facebook, streaming. I mean, geez, hundreds of hours, just in hopes of getting a couple backers, you know. But again, there's a ton of competition out there. And just because they're small doesn't mean they're not at the level of quality or storytelling as someone with a ton of exposure and following. There are plenty of projects that have lower funding that are of higher quality than some of the larger projects. That's just how it is. High sales does not equate to high quality. Sometimes there are high quality products that also get high sales, of course. But I think in any product, any market, you know that there are products or films that make a ton of money, but the quality's not there, right? I think we can all agree there's a lot of movies out there that made a lot of money at the box office, but did not impress you, right? Or the CGI looked horrible, and you're just like, how did this even get produced, right? How did this get backed by major studios? So, and this ties into my first and second video about promotion and all of that, right? The only way those smaller guys with fantastic projects are going to get that visibility and that reach is by people helping one another, you know, you supporting others and then in return maybe getting some support. Yeah, I think we've got to lift each other up in this scene and try to make sure that, you know, the best of the best rises and gets the exposure it deserves. That's the only way we're going to bring more customers, right, into the indie scene. It's not about just bringing them to yourself. The more customers of mainstream comics, mainstream films that you can pull in to our own marketplace, the better it is for everybody. Problem is sometimes people will bring them in only to their project and they're not really interested in exposing those fans or customers to the rest of the marketplace. And it doesn't matter, you know, if I get big or whatever, you know, let's just say if I were to make millions or whatever, right? Or get a film deal, I would not stop promoting indie projects, right? Because it was because of others promoting me and supporting me that I would have gotten to that level. And I've always told myself if I ever succeed in anything, I'm not going to forget my roots, right? I'm going to make sure I give back and help others get in the same position as me, right? And the other thing too is, you know, most people can only produce a couple products a year, maybe even one, and most of those products you can read in a day or less than a week, you know. Why not give people more content, you know, fill up their plate so that they're not forced to buy back issues, you know, from the mainstream to not go and rewatch the same films over and over and over again, right? Let's get new content in front of those guys. And again, the more you give exposure to other projects, I think the more you're going to get it back. And I think that's really important. But back to the point, competition. It's there. It exists. It's just not as visible sometimes. But that doesn't mean the quality's not there. It doesn't mean there's not better stories there. And that's not like punching up at more successful projects. Yes, there are some successful projects financially that don't look that good or may not have great storytelling, just like there's some smaller creators that may not be putting out the best content. But there's also smaller creators with great content. So it's a mixed bag. Um, but we need to make sure that, you know, everyone's getting exposure. Again, I think that's how you lift up the entire community. And I mean, everyone is competing with one another per se, but again, no one is producing enough product to fill everyone's plate with entertainment or content. I mean, that's just reality. Um, it's the mainstream doing that. You know, there's a reason why they're the mainstream and they have the money they have. So the only way we're going to combat that level of productivity or output is by showing, hey, it's not just me out there. There's all these other folks. Check them out. And then you can vet which ones are the best and which ones are not. But I'm certainly, like I said, I'm confident enough in my products that I'm not trying to prevent exposure to other products because I'm worried that, oh, those fans might, or those customers might like those products better than mine, or it may show that I don't have as high of quality. Like, no, I'm 100% confident in my art, or on the art of my project, in my writing. You know, I'm just hoping that, you know, other people can provide entertainment to fill in the gaps because I can't write 5 novels a year. They wouldn't be of high quality, you know, and I can't afford right now to put out 5 comics a year. If I had the money, I would. But so yeah, in the end, the competition exists at every level. It's a very layered topic, and I just hope that, people realize, you know, it's not all about sales. It's not all about following. That does not determine quality, and that don't dismiss the little guys just because they don't have reach or visibility yet. Doesn't mean they don't have a diamond in the rough. And I shouldn't even say a diamond in the rough, just a diamond that's hidden under a bunch of sand, right? Um, but yeah, I just didn't really like, that sentiment of, hey, because your universe isn't fully laid out in as many products as it needs to be or should be, that it doesn't exist. Doesn't matter if that universe is in your head, right? It still exists. It's just going to take a while to get it in front of people. Anyways, thanks for listening to my real talk, and please check out Vigilantes Creed on Indiegogo and Fund My Comic. The links are below, and pick up one of those diamonds in the form of Vigilantes Creed, and help me show that I have high quality product and that I am competition, because I do believe I am. And I'm going to grind as long as possible to make sure that people see the beauty of Vigilantes Creed. All right, thank you everybody. God bless.